Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you find links to not only this show, but some of our other shows like MF Uncensored and the Multiverse Fancast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio, via the Zoom studio, all over the place. We have a full house today. We'll start with Sean via the Zoom studio. Sean, how are you today?
I am great. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing so well. I'm happy to see you. You're just a ray of fucking sunshine, as your shirt says.
Whoa.
Language.
Look at you.
I will not edit that out. Happy 2024, everyone. New show, new adventures.
New me.
And speaking of new adventures, new cinematic adventures? What? Anywho, we have from the Multiverse Fancast, MF Uncensored, and the pages of... I was going to say the pages of America's Most Wanted. Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Well, you weren't supposed to tell people my secret identity, though.
It's in the papers.
Oh, shit.
Somebody's going to read a paper one of these days. But Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm doing phantasmal. How are you?
I don't know what phantasmal means, but
I don't
please
either.
don't sit so close to me. And also from YouTube... From YouTube and our graduating class of Mayapack High School, we have BlindBat8719, our friend Brennan. Brennan, how are you today?
Now people can steal his identity.
I mean,
It's one of the
I think I'm
security
fine. I
questions.
think I don't think that is. I hope not. At least I'm doing fine. Before Ronnie mentioned that, you're spiritual today, phantasmal. You're like you're in what the frick is this quote from A. Venkman? He's like self-orbiting apparatus.
I thought it was just because the Jesus movie was his highlight of 2023.
I didn't say it was a highlight. I said it was one of the movies I watched.
What was it called again?
Jesus Revolution.
It's all I can see is Jesus with an Uzi going, "It's my time to shine."
or like Che Guerrero, like with gear and whatnot.
Yep, it's full tack gear, but still sandals, because Jesus. Anyway, this show's going off the rails super quick, and this is only our second show of the day. But we are super excited to be here. We figured since we had a full house, and because we couldn't decide on an actual movie, because that was just a process. We started spitballing some ideas, and one of the ideas that we came up with is a discussion on some of our favorite actors, why they appeal to us, what some of our favorite roles are, and also give each other a chance to be like, no, that's stupid. Yeah, because I already know that no matter what Ronnie says, I don't care if it's an actor that I love, if Ronnie says it, I'm going to say, no, that's stupid, and make him defend it, and then argue it. I won't believe in that argument, but I'm going to do it.
Watch this.
I can't wait. I'm so excited because guess who's going first? So, in that vein, Ronnie, give us an actor or actress. We're going to use actor as the generic term. Please don't come at us in the comments. But who's a performer?
So just since you're going to argue, I'm going to go with Matt Ryan.
What?
If you can name three things he's been in.
I just wanted to get his reaction.
That are not Constantine.
Constantine.
I was thinking, I could think there's a Justice League in there somewhere.
Name all the laws. Don't murder anyone? That's a good one.
Yeah, right?
Ezra Miller.
Well, on a serious note, everyone.
Sean said he was going last anyway.
To me, one of my favorite has been doing it for what seems like 1,000 years is Robert De Niro.
Oh.
To me, I know that's kind of like very like generic and everyone knows who he is and type of stuff. Like, that's like everyone's answer. I feel like for the most part is when you think name an actor, that's the name that pretty much comes to a lot of people's head right away. But I just feel like, yes, he's been very typecasted when he first started. You know, the Italian and Godfather, Goodfellas, you know, all those freaking mobster roles, you know, the Irishman even to, you know, that was, what,
God,
5 years ago?
watching him try and do a fight scene in The Irishman.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But he does have that wide range, like Dirty Grandpa.
I will actually defend that movie. It's so atrociously bad, but I still giggle during it.
Right? So, like, to me, like, it's just, he's been doing it, you know, since, what, the 70s? Early 70s? Mm-hmm. You know? Godfather came out in 72. So.
Wait, isn't that Al Pacino? In The Godfather?
Yeah.
It is, but Godfather Part 2 is De Niro.
Yeah.
He plays a young Brando.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, like, I mean, to me, like, just starting from, like, the early 70s to even, like, I feel like he just have something come out
A baby?
couple years ago?
Didn't he just have a baby?
No, Pacino did.
No, what was it?
I could have sworn that De Niro had like a baby too recently.
Well, I know.
I think he did.
Did he? Because I know Pacino is dating or has like a 19-year-old girlfriend or whatever that's pregnant.
That's where Leo's getting the tips from. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he had a movie
didn't
come up fairly
didn't he-
recently.
A Blood Over the River Moon or something like that. Is
I
that
can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Just to me, like he's just like quintessential. Like when you're thinking of like some of like the greatest actors of all time, like that's someone that pops into your mind because he's been in so many different roles and iconic roles, you know. And again, a lot of them early career is mobster movies that are fantastic. Like the Godfather movies, like they're all good movies.
I think
Obviously,
they insist upon themselves.
you know. And then you had a Bronx Tale, Goodfellas. Like those are all like iconic movies. So to me, like that's someone that kind of just stands out as one of my favorites. And like I said, especially since he's been able to do like not just dramatic movies, but also do like comedies, like Meet the Fockers. You know, there was the Sebastian Maniscalco like biopic type movie.
In 2023, he came out with Killers of the Flower Moon, About My Father, and Ezra.
Yeah. So About My Father is the Sebastian Maniscalco like biopic kind of movie, but not really.
He's got another movie in 2024 called Alto Nights, where he plays a character named Vito Genovese Frank Costello. Nice Irish name.
And then, according to this, he's going to be in the new Joker movie.
I don't know how, but
Yeah.
it's not listed on his
flashback, maybe?
Maybe not listed on his filmography.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Just to me, like that's like a nice iconic actor that you know. Again, you recognize him anywhere.
Do you have an actor you can't stand? I know I did not prepare this
You
one.
did not prepare.
Do you want me to roll back to you? I'll roll back to you.
Yes,
I can
please.
I can take that one for right now.
Well, no, it's your turn. So, Brendan, who is an actor of report, one that you love?
Oh, one that I love. Oh, I was trying to write down a list and just to figure out who comes to mind. Like they're in that movie, you got to kind of go see it. I'm gonna give it to Tom Hanks actually.
Well, Tom Hanks is a solid choice.
Yeah, because
I
I
was.
was.
Are you talking about someone you didn't like?
No, he
Well, I was
flipped.
like, what?
He flipped it on me. I want to get
Okay.
back down to that. I know.
I was like, oh, how dare you?
yeah, no. Well,
How dare I go to the regular topic we were talking about?
No, how dare I thought he was going with.
that's
the
okay.
first.
I'll leave you some time to think about it. There's somebody you don't appreciate seeing on screen.
That's a solid choice, Brennan. Man's turned himself into a great character actor too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just saw him in A Man Called Otto, which was awesome. I read the book first, and I thought that was like, oh, this is he's gonna be great in this. That was awesome, and he's got a bunch of his own like things that I think when I think about his filmography, like not that he set the line, but You're the Captain Now, Captain Phillips. I thought he did a wonderful job in that. I always come back to Saving Private Ryan as one of the big ones. I know he had he had this big turning. He started out as a big comedy guy, and then working his way being the nice guy all the time, and then doing he did Forrest Gump, which you can hate me if you want. I haven't really seen that movie. I've seen bits and pieces throughout the years, kind of with Sean's opinion on that sometimes, where I'm like, I don't think it's as great as people make it out to be. But as I've learned in my own journey about studying greatness, sometimes it's just when the thing comes out, being a zeitgeist in the moment, and that kind of solidifies it. But then upon further review later on, you're like, okay, maybe not so great. But I'm trying to think what else I remember I wanted to talk about. The only and he doesn't really do that many. Was it
Big?
Yep, he did Big. That's another.
good one.
That was another good one. I don't think he's made too many decisions where you're like, why did you pick that one? I think one of those I would say would be like, I think The Red Circle. I think it was where he plays like some sort of like Zuckerberg-esque person with the social network and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's the first time you see post Harry Potter, I think Hermione Granger, Emma Watson, as well as John Boyega. I think after the second Star Wars movie he was in, but that was one where you're like, oh, that's a little bit interesting. And then was it not the beach? What's the one he was stranded on?
Castaway.
Castaway. That was one where, like, even the story of that one I thought was interesting because he transformed his body for that. Because Tom Hanks, while let's say relatively fit, doesn't usually transform his body, and that was one of the few times where he's like, pudgy guy, FedEx worker, and he's like, oh yeah, you have that, I must survive or die ribs, abs,
Yeah.
All right. So, who's the actor that you hated?
I feel like I was gonna write down. I think Will Ferrell's one that I don't. I know I don't have. I have a thing about not liking what I consider stupid humor, and name a movie he's in. I probably don't like it.
Talladega Nights.
Don't like it. I actually haven't seen it because I think it's stupid. Like the only one that would maybe
Step Brothers.
haven't seen
You're,
it.
you're
It's
getting
stupid.
progressively stupider in the funny department. So
Step Brothers is a classic.
it's a
I
classic.
haven't
I
seen
agree with you, but
Yeah.
Sean's sitting so quietly.
Yeah, no,
Right.
Yeah, no, like I think the only thing I might even give a chance with him really was like Stranger Than Fiction, which I still haven't seen, but like that would be one I might give him a shot with. You know, like him and like Steve Carell is like another one where I don't like their brand of humor. They do some serious stuff in which I might watch that. Like I just watched The Big Short with Steve Carell in it, and he was wow, that was pretty awesome. But usually the stupid stuff, nah, that's not usually. And I feel like most of Will Ferrell's filmography is him playing some man-child, with some stupid physical humor gags.
As we're sitting here doing a podcast about movies and superheroes.
Yeah.
Setting the bar for maturity a little low there, buddy.
Yeah.
Ronnie, did you think of an actor that you couldn't stand?
Yeah. Channing Tatum. I feel
Poor
like
guy.
because I feel like he doesn't really have any acting skills. He's just
He's got great comedic timing. My name's Jeff.
okay. Does he have moments? Yes. But if you think about it, all his movies are because of someone else.
He's so handsome.
It's not because of him. That's the only reason he's had success is because of his looks.
He's magic.
You know, you could say the same thing for almost like I'm trying to think of who else. Like, people are gonna hate me for this. I don't think this is the reason, but like Paul Rudd. Like that's another one that like his looks kind of help him out type of thing. You don't agree with that?
I don't agree with
Ryan
that.
Gosling,
Ryan Gosling a little bit more.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher a lot more. What? But
You know.
Paul Rudd?
Again, I like him. I'm saying some people who don't, I feel like say that because I love Paul Rudd. So
I'm not
I
feeling
wasn't
that.
including him on my list. I'm just saying there's people that think that way, but for me, like an Ashton Kutcher, Ryan Gosling, Channing Tatum, all fall under that category of we're mediocre actors. But the reason we get big roles is because our name's big, because we're so good looking that we have this fanfare with the females, basically.
That's why we started doing videos so people can see us.
Yeah.
I think I would say take Ryan off that list. The other two I get you with because
Yeah.
if I think back with Channing Tatum, he was just in The Lost City, The Golden City, or whatnot.
Oh, with
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
With Sandra
Yeah.
Bullock, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's probably a hard pass. I do know, like again, his dancing abilities were only got him on stage for Step Up, which is how
Yeah.
that was his big start. And then you're right, he's playing. He's basically hasn't taken a role. I feel like where he gets to show range. Okay, outside of maybe Foxcatcher, but usually he doesn't have many Foxcatcher-esque movies to his name,
Yeah.
which is coincidentally another serious role by Steve Carell, as I was talking about before. But yeah, I can see your point where you're like, yeah, you're just a large body and a pretty face.
Yeah.
But you can make this argument. I feel like of like Hemsworth actually.
Which one?
Chris Hemsworth, Thor. I'm trying to think like really because he at post Endgame he's done the Extraction
I'm sorry.
movies.
Him and the Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah. We will always defend Mike Hat.
Yeah, my cat.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh,
He's actually a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I would say that what I do like what he did was Rush. That's the one I was kind of like to try
Yeah.
to squeeze in. Can we talk about that sometimes? But
All right. Going down. Sean,
Yes, sir.
do you have a favorite actor or actress that you would love to, that if you see them in a role, you're just like, gotta see it?
So I was thinking about this, and I wanted to do like a really big name actor, and I also wanted to give a shout out to like a what you would call a character actor, someone who you're not going to the movie for, but you're very happy when you notice that they're in the movie or whatever. So the big
Can I give
name
you
actor
Can I
that
give you one caveat before you give it real quick? It has to be
Yep.
like in the current generation, like where we're all alive. Nothing like pre-1980.
Oh no, yeah, no. It's somebody who's still working, who's been working for the last 30 plus years, even before that. But you guys will know who he is. So big actor wise, I'm going to go with Daniel Day-Lewis, who I think is probably the greatest actor
Ever.
of our generation. This is a man who, got so into character. He said in his acceptance speech that, his wife has lived with many different men over the years because he doesn't know how to shut off his character. The first movie I saw him in was Gangs of New York, which was just one of the craziest performances I've ever seen. And then after that, I went back and watched My Left Foot, which he won an award for, In the Name of the Father, which if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. Fantastic movie. But the big one for me is Lincoln. We don't know what Abraham Lincoln sounded like. We have no clue. There were no video recordings. There were no tape recordings of anything back then. So like you're watching this movie and you go like, that's how he speaks.
Yeah.
That's how he looked. That's his mannerisms. The man literally became the character. And that's why sadly he's retired now, so he's not making any more movies. But for the last 15 years, if he was in a movie, I was like, I want to go see that.
Did he drink your milkshake? I would also like to point out that when Brennan gave you the caveat, he raised his hand, now knowing full well that you could not see him.
Oh, dang it.
Well, I sensed him. It's all
He
right.
said, I sensed him.
The other actor I want to give a shout out to, because I really do like him a lot, and he's in like everything, is James Cromwell.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys remember him obviously from Babe. He was in LA Confidential, The Queen. I mean, he's been in everything. He is just one of those character actors that just falls into any movie you could think of, from Revenge of the Nerds to, like I said, he plays Prince Philip in The Queen, and just a solid actor who always gives it all, no matter how dumb the movie he's in is. So I just wanted to shoot that out there.
All right, so I'm going to do mine, and also I'm going to throw this out there to you guys as well. Things to think about, because we do have a little extra time. An overrated movie, in your opinion. I know some of you guys have already said, Forrest Gump, so we're going to take Forrest Gump off the table, everyone. All right, so an overrated movie, and a movie that you will defend to the death, no matter what people say. All right, so things to think about while I talk, because you guys don't really listen to me anyway.
What?
So, on that note, I'm actually going to pick an actor. You guys are all going a little bit older generation actors. Like, you guys have all done, like, 70s, 80s, like, actors that have been around for a while, have some clout. I'm going to go with this. I'm going with a fun one. I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds. If Ryan Reynolds is coming out with a movie, there's a fair chance that I'm going to be the first one to go see it.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't realize that until Free Guy. And like, as much as I love like your Deadpools and your Van Wilder and stuff like that, we just watched Spirited, which if you're looking for a less Will Ferrell-y movie, that's a great choice.
Okay.
Because even though he's in it, he's the straight man to Ryan Reynolds is more like, I hate to say it, asshole character. Like, Ryan Reynolds is not the good guy in it.
Okay.
But it was a really fun Christmas movie. We were very surprised with how much we liked it. But I will say Ryan Reynolds, ever since Van Wilder, he's just one of those actors that I remember seeing Van Wilder, and I think at the same time he had two guys, a girl, and a pizza place.
Yeah.
Like, that was his other like claim to fame at the time. And then he kind of went a little silent for a little bit. And I was like, I hope that this guy doesn't disappear. I really think he's funny. And then suddenly Ryan Reynolds is everywhere. And he's
like Waiting was like his next big thing?
And then he wasn't in the made for TV or like the straight to DVD sequel. But yeah, but Chuck was, which is hilarious. So for me, like, Ryan Reynolds is just one of those actors that when he's putting out something, even like his crappy movies, like his R.I.P.Ds and his Green Lanterns, he's never the issue. Any movie that he's in, it's not an issue with him, it's an issue with the script and whatever production. Like, he did that movie Buried, where he's literally buried alive for the entire. It's just a movie of him in a box, and it's like super intense. But and then another actor who doesn't do a lot, but I will always go out of my way to see. And if I could ever meet at a convention, I'll lose my mind. And that's Jensen Ackles. Like, I love Jensen Ackles. He stole the show on The Boys, and obviously he started Supernatural for 15 years. He's just one of those dudes. Like, I also gauge an actor by how much I would love to just sit down and like pick their brains and just chat with them. And like, I would love to get a beer with Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. I think that would be just a blast. So for me, that's just kind of the two. When I think actors who I really just enjoy, I jump to. As much as I love like your Henry Cavill and stuff like that, unfortunately, Henry Cavill movies are not always the quality movies that jump out at me. So unfortunately, he was not on that list. But all right, so we're gonna go around. You can pick either one you want to say first. It's an overrated movie in your humble opinion, or one
you would defend, you would die on the hill for.
A movie you're going to die on the hill. So I'll go first, just so you guys have a second if you're still thinking. Overrated movie, Avatar. I think Avatar's a good movie, but it's the same plot that's been done a few times. Your Dances with Wolves, your quote-unquote white savior type movies. I do love Zoe Saldana. Like, she's an actress, though, that I really enjoy. Like, if she's going to be in something, I'll always kind of look towards it. But like the movie was great when Sean and I saw it in the biggest IMAX theater in 3D, like the whole nine, and it was just like, wow, this was great, and like all that. And then if it's been on again, it just doesn't catch that same type of momentum. And then there are two movies that I will die on the hill for, and I'm sure you guys already know which two movies they are. Okay?
EVS.
One is Batman versus Superman. I will die on that hill. Bury me on the hill next to Superman's body.
But you're only defending the director's cut.
No, I defend both. I think that they're both good movies. The director's cut is better and more coherent, but like it boggled my mind when people just didn't. I don't want to say they didn't understand it, but they had like so many questions. I'm like, they said this.
Yeah.
Like you watched the movie. Sean actually left, just so everybody is clear, because he's already mad at me,
so
I guess.
frustrated.
So mad. And then the second movie, and
Here.
oh, Sean's still here. The second movie, and my biggest frustration isn't that I have defended this movie since I saw it in theaters, but now there's this sudden love and appreciation for the character of this movie, and that's The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I walked out of that theater going, I really enjoyed a lot of that movie. Not the whole movie. It had some issues. And everybody hated it.
Yeah.
Everybody. But as soon as Andrew Garfield stepped onto the screen in Spider-Man No Way Home, everybody's like, "Man, those movies weren't too bad.
Yeah.
They were." And I'm like, what?" So that is those are mine. Who would like to go next? And Brendan, if you want to raise your hand now is fine.
Oh, now is fine.
Yes. So who's ready to
I can
run?
go.
All right, Ronnie.
Go around the table.
Yeah.
We're going around the table. Ronnie, hit
All
it.
right. So for me, my number one most overrated movie of all time is Titanic.
Oh.
I don't get what is so good about that movie. I think just the sheer stupidity that happens throughout the movie and everything, and I don't think any of the acting in it is good at all. I don't know, like to me that movie was it's like 3 hours long or something ridiculous like that.
2 VHS tapes long.
Yeah. Like you could easily have cut that down to an hour and a half, made it the same exact movie, and cut out stuff and you still know what's going on. It's basically just freaking two people fall in love that shouldn't fall in love, aka Romeo and Juliet, right? But on a ship and it sinks.
With the biggest Chekhov's gun, if you know anything about history going on in the world,
Yeah. So like to me, like it's I don't know. I just can't stand that movie. Everyone's so hyped. Like, it just had 30th whatever anniversary it was, and it came back out in theaters, and it did like tens of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Like it did well for like a re-release of it. But I'm like, no, like I didn't even see it when it came out. I watched it like on VHS, or whatever it was. I forget. But I'm like, to me, this is one of the stupidest movies of all time. As far as like an underrated movie, this could be, I don't know if it's underrated per se, but maybe it's not well known, is Cinderella Man.
Oh,
I know
with
that.
Yeah, with Robert De Niro.
Yeah, right? What?
No.
I thought he was in that.
Nope.
No.
What am I thinking of then?
You're thinking of
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Yes.
Who'd win in a fight?
You're thinking Raging Bull, Paul.
Yes,
Thank you.
Raging
Bull.
Bull,
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight? Peak Raging Bull Robert De Niro or peak Russell Crowe Cinderella Man Sean?
Neither. Stallone, Rocky.
What? That's not how we do who would win in a fight. Sean, he's rooting who would win in a fight. Get him off the podcast.
To me, again, I don't know if I would say it's underrated, but I feel like it's not that well known of a movie, possibly. But that's a movie to me that, I guess, coming just from a person that loves sports.
Sports.
I think it's it's the acting in it, the storytelling. It actually, it's funny because me and my wife just watched, maybe 2 weeks ago, Big George Foreman. And it's kind of like this similar story where, he retires, comes back to the sport to become heavyweight champion again. And it's the same kind of story almost. So to me, that's a movie I would die on a hill. Again, people might think it's a good movie, but to me, it's just one of those, I got to spread the word and tell people about this movie.
Man, that's a good one to try to follow up with a little bit here. So for me, for my overrated movie, I think I'm going to stick with the one I think I kind of started the podcast with you guys on about. Empire Strikes Back. That's one I still don't get why that. All right, so I'm going to go and say what mine overrated film is, and you're all going to hate me for it, which is Empire Strikes Back. I think that's something where people say this was one of the greatest movies ever made, and I still kind of don't see it. It's like, what? Because it had a dark ending? That's the reason why?
It's the Godfather 2 of Star Wars. Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
So no, that I just in my head I'm like, okay, so yeah, Luke doesn't win like that, but okay, I didn't realize how big of a deal that is and whatnot.
It dials everything up to an 11. The effects are better, the story's better, and the ultimate twist of all time that he is the baby daddy.
Yes, it's an ultimate twist, but does that actually make the story better? It's good for the moment. Does it make the story better? No, because it creates the cycle of, I think, it created a history now of all of, not just daddy issues, but of heroes who start out apparently as the random person who saves the day to end up being, oh no, they were always the chosen one.
You're a chosen one.
I'd be nice for once in a while.
Yes. I saw a meme recently. It was like, I'm almost 40. I don't think I'm the chosen one in this current story. Because nobody's come to tell me otherwise.
Yeah, so there's that. And then I guess I really I'm not sure about one that die a hill on, other than like thinking of movies that I like that I don't think are as appreciated, or maybe, so like I think like for me it'd be stuff like, why am I blank? Never Back Down was one that I always have a soft spot for.
I like that movie.
That was that.
But then they made like 7 more.
And that's the problem. Which I also feel like underrated actor, I'm going to screw his name up. Is it Dujaman Hussain?
Jimoon. Yeah. Oh, he's great.
He's like in everything, but they never give him like a leading thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm like I've seen him everywhere, and like, why don't they give this guy a leading role for once? And then I think the other one for me was like, what's a weird choice for me. I think for people to hear when I say it is like, This Is Where I Leave You. Like this is it was an offbeat movie, I think, with Jason Bateman, Tina Fey, the Yellow Jacket from the Ant-Man movies. I forget that actor's name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Thank you.
Too.
And I think Jane Fonda. So not typically a movie you would think I'd fall in love in, but I always say that again, emotional connection to things. I had just gone through a breakup, and that's what Jason Bateman went through, and it's like, okay, I'm ready to all the zaniness involved, and Adam Driver's in that movie too, doing some dumb stuff as the youngest kid. But
is that the one? Is Daniel Radcliffe in that too?
No, he's not.
Oh, because there's this meme going around about Adam Driver, and he's sitting with Daniel Radcliffe, and he just had sex, and he's about to eat nachos, and that's when he yells out loud, and it's really funny. But
no,
I wasn't sure.
No, this one's about a dysfunctional family coming back to sit Shiva after their father passed.
Oh, that sounds like a fun family time. All right, Shawnee, you're up. Close it out strong.
Alrighty, so I'm going to start with the overrated movies. I'm going to do the Ocean's 11 trilogy as a whole is overrated. I thoroughly enjoy the first movie, but the second two have absolutely destroyed the franchise. They were that bad. So I will still watch the first one. I still enjoy it, getting all those actors together. The storyline works. But then it just got too, I don't know, meta, and just kind of went off the rails a little in the sequels, I felt.
Is the fourth one that different that you're not including it?
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't count as its own separate movie.
Okay.
Like, I feel so, and they're even talking. George Clooney even says he has a script for a fourth Ocean's movie. So I'm like, all right, why? I don't know.
He's dead.
So
Spoiler.
seriously, because in the Sandra Bullock one, like, he's got a great. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's again. In terms of a movie, I'll die on the hill for. I got 2.
Okay.
So I got a silly one and a more of a serious movie that I really enjoy. So the silly one, I will die on my hill for the movie Speed Racer.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yes.
we go.
Yes.
Paul will tell you, we walked out of that movie theater. We were literally the only people in it. And we both turned to each other and just go like, I really like that movie.
So good.
And the movie was out of theaters literally like a week later. It was like, it was
bombed.
an absolute bomb. It is despised all around. And I don't understand why. Like, I watch it and I'm like, I actually really enjoy this movie. Like, I like the actors. I love the way it's made. I like, the colors. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to get high and watch this movie, you may die. Your brain may explode because it is just colors and just forced right at you. But I really enjoyed that movie. To this day, I own it. I will watch it every now and then. More serious movie I will die on my hill for is the David Fincher Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yes.
To this day, I don't know why they did not make the other 2 books with that cast. I thought that cast was fantastic. Rooney Mara is a very good actress, and this was like her first big starring role. I think she was in The Social Network right before this, but it was a smaller role. So this was like her breaking out as an actress, and she was fantastic. Daniel Craig is Daniel Craig. Could that character have been played by anybody? Yeah, he was good, but the story was great. But I don't know if it was it just didn't make enough money. If it was a scheduling thing, they couldn't get all them together to do the sequels. But we eventually got another movie with different actors based off of a different book that was just nowhere near as good. But I will die on my hill for those two movies. I enjoy them both very much.
Sweet. All right, I love it. So that is going to wrap us up for today. We do have our Fan Feedback Friday, though, because this is Cinematic Adventures, and that's what we do. Because I did it during the holiday season, obviously now it's the brand new year, so this was last year's holiday season, I guess. This week, what are your holiday movie choices for the year? So basically, for 2023, you sat down, what were some of the movies that you needed to watch? We have some of our more popular ones from Brendan, of course.
Of course.
Muppets Christmas Carol, Violent Night, The Holiday. Violent Night's a newer one. That's
We tried it one night, and I'm like, this is really good.
some movie called The Nightmare Before Christmas. Sounds like a Halloween movie. I wouldn't watch it. Elf, Home Alone, The Santa Claus A, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I agree. I do say Spirited was surprisingly good, so that was fun this year. Sean, did you have a new or your favorite holiday movie this year?
I think both the Muppet Christmas Carol Holiday were mentioned. I'm a stickler for the oldies, Christmas Carol, like the old timey versions, all the Rudolph and Frosty. What else?
Miracle on 34th.
Miracle on 34th is a good one.
Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, all those.
Nice.
Huge.
All right, well, that is going to wrap us up. We want to first and foremost thank all of our guest hosts for ruining my day. Jumping on. So, if you guys are also looking to participate in Fan Feedback Friday, it's super easy. You go to our Facebook page every Friday between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have that up, so make sure you guys participate, like the page, do all that jazz, because it really helps the network. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com, and we're on all the social media. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Just type in The Misfit Faction or Cinematic Adventures. Odds are you'll find some of our stuff. But that is going to wrap us up for today. We hope everybody had a happy and healthy New Year and holiday season. As always, I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Brendan.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.